I'm going to start by saying that education begins in the home. I always say that. Education begins in the home. Parents send their children to us to educate their children, and there are TEKs that tell us what we are supposed to educate or how we're supposed to educate children in the classroom. That's our job. Anything outside of that is not our job. I heard the term principal autonomy. Nothing trumps parental autonomy. Nothing. At the end of the day, I heard someone earlier today say this is bullying, harassment, and that's ridiculous. That is just ridiculous. There are children in our classrooms and in our schools currently who are transgender, and they live their lives with their parents' knowledge and consent, and that's all we're saying. As long as the parents have knowledge and consent, you're good. That's fine. Continue, carry on. It is when the state, the government, which is what we are, that's what every employee is of this district, steps in and decides, I'm not going to tell a child's parent about something. That's when we have a problem. And so this policy just says you're not allowed to do that. If a student walks in your room and a student says, I want to change my name, or I want to change my gender, or whatever else they might say, it is not our job as the government to decide whether that child is allowed to do that. That's a parent's job to decide that. I don't want the government or anybody else in my house, and you don't want me in your house. And that's fine. That's the way it should be. We sat last month and listened to some upset constituents because they didn't want God mentioned in our classrooms, and they certainly wouldn't want teachers proselytizing to their students. This is no different. This is the same thing. This is not your job. It's not our job. It is parents' job. That's all we're saying. This is already in procedures. The fact that we're bringing it up to policy just means that now the trustees, as the governing body, who are the people who are in charge and who were elected to do this, are now saying this is the law of Fort Bend ISD. This is the way it's going to go. It does not change a single thing except that it cannot be hidden from parents. Why would we say it's okay to hide something from a child's parent? I can't even believe we're having this conversation, to be honest. It is not our job to hide things from parents. And it is that parent's job to raise their child. And all of these arguments about, oh, well, they might abuse them, I mean, that's equally ridiculous. Because I'm not going to govern based on what someone might do. Laws are not passed that way. Policies are not passed that way. So, I mean, you know, parents abuse their children for lots of reasons. They get bad grades. Are we going to stop reporting grades? They have bad behavior at school. Are we not going to call the parents because they had bad behavior? They're vaping in the bathrooms. Are we not going to call the parents then? No, we are going to do these things. And if parents violate the law and abuse their child, then the law is going to deal with them. And that's the way it works, and it's the way it should work. And we all have different views on a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, protecting the rights of parents, protecting the rights of students, and protecting the rights of teachers, I think is perfectly balanced in this policy. I think that's our job, is to balance those rights. And so people can disagree about it, but at the end of the day, that's okay. You can disagree. You teach your child what you want in your home, and I'll teach my child what I want in my home, and all of our rights are protected. And that's the bottom line of what this policy does, in my opinion.